Have a nice time, my dear students, and we go to learn film Nemat Helminths. We start learn this new film. And this film include interesting for us class Nematoda, or they have another name, roundworms. What about classification and what worms we will learn? We will learn two main groups. Uh, First group is nematodes of digestive system, and second main group is nematodes of tissue and blood. For example, uh, uh, we will learn 8 families nematode of digestive system of alimentary tract, 8 families, and three families of nematodes of tissue and blood, and of alimentary tract of digestive system. There are family Ascaridae, family Ankylostomidae, family Oxyuridae, family Strongyloidae, family Strongyloididae, family Trichostrongylus, family Trichuridae, and family Trichinellidae. A lot of worms, most of them are very dangerous. And the next one, trematode of tissue and blood. There are 3 families: family Dracunculidae, family Filaridae, and family Diophimidae. Okay, main characters of this class Nematoda you can get in lecture more better. And we go to learn first roundworm. This is the Ascaris lumbricoides. Ascaris lumbricoides. First of all, I need to talk about morphology. It's only shortly. You can find more information in Moodle, but this is for remember. Okay, Ascaris species are very large roundworms, and as you can see, this, for example, this worm are more than 50 centimeter length. Okay, for example, Ascaris lumbricoides, females worms are from 20 to 35 centimeter. This is about when we're talking about adult worms. And adult males are from 15 to 30 centimeters. Okay, and this parasite of the human intestine. Ascaris lumbricoides is the primary species involved in human infection globally. But, for example, Ascaris derived from pigs. These worms can infect human also infected humans. Okay. This is about adult females and males. This roundworms has 3 living forms. First form, it is adult worms. Next form, it is larva. Larvae live inside our lungs, and it is look like here very small worms, and we can see pictures, photos of high magnification of the specimen in the lungs, the tissue, inside the tissue of lungs. And as you can see, the cut of this worm, and here this is the intestine of this larva. And the last life form, it is not actually it is not life form, but it is present in life cycle of this worm. And this is the eggs. We have two types of eggs: fertile eggs and unfertilized eggs. These both type of eggs are present inside feces. Feces, and we start learn life cycle of Ascaris lumbricoides. As I said, these two types of eggs are in feces, and these two eggs in feces are diagnostic stage. Excuse me. But we still talking about life cycle. Female may produce approximately 200,000 of eggs per day, which are passed with the feces, as I said. Feces here, there are feces. Unfertilized eggs may be ingested, but they are not infective. Larvae develop to infectivity within fertile eggs after 18 days to several weeks. It is depend how long this larva will develop inside fertile eggs. It is depend from the temperature of environment. Increased temperature, shortly time. Decreased temperature, longer time. Okay. What's the next? After infective eggs are swallowed, the larvae hatch, invade the intestinal mucosa, and are carried via the portal, then systemic circulation of the lungs. They use our blood system, circulatory system, to undergo to the lungs. And after that, larvae of this roundworm mature further in the lungs from 10 to 14 days and penetrate the alveolar walls, ascend the bronchial tree to the throat, and are swallowed. Upon reaching the small intestine, they develop into adult worms. And I must say to you that this stage in lungs, especially when we are swallowing mucosa, are diagnostic stage 2. Diagnostic stage 2. Okay. Okay. What's the next? Open, reaching the small intestine, they developed into adult worms. Between 2 and 3 months are required from ingesting of the infected eggs to oviposition by the adult female. Adult worm can live from 1 to 2 years or 3 sometimes. Not long life. Okay. Uh, what about hosts? Uh, this is there are humans and swine are the major host for Ascaris. Occasionally, Ascaris species eggs may be found in dog feces. This does not indicate true infective, but instead spiral's passage of eggs following coprophagy. What about clinical presentation? Touch heavy infection in children may cause stunted growth via malnutrition. Adult worms usually cause two acute symptoms. High worm number may cause abdominal pain and intestinal obstruction and potentially performation in very high intensity infection. Migration adult worms may cause symptomatic occlusion of the biliary tract, appendicitis, or nasopharyngeal ex expulsion, particularly in infection involving a single female worm. When larvae are inside our lungs, we can see a presentation. It looks like cold. Okay, and the last one, it is a laboratory diagnosis, what you must to know. As I said, diagnostic stages are larvae inside our lungs, eggs inside our feces, and adult worms inside our feces too. Sometimes we can find them, especially when dead worms inside our feces. And what is more? Okay, laboratory diagnosis. Come back to laboratory diagnosis in hospitals. It is a microscopic indication of eggs in the stool. Is the most common method for diagnosis intestinal ascariasis. The recommended procedure is as follows. First, collect a stool specimen. Second, preserve the specimen in formalin or another fixative solution. Concentrate using the formalin ethyl acetate sedimentation technique and examine a wet mount of the sediment. Where concentration procedures are not available, a direct wet mount examination of the specimen is adequate for detecting moderate to heavy infections. For quantitative assessments for infection, various methods such as the CATO-CADS or quantitative fecal flotation can be used. Larva can be indefinite in sputum or gastric aspirate during the pulmonary migration phase. Adult worms are occasionally passed in stool, as I said, or through the mouth or nose and are recognized by their macro, not micro, macroscopic characteristics. And this characteristic you know. Molecular methods for detective of eggworm DNA in human stool are increasingly used in research setting, often in multi-parallel formats for detecting this and other soil-transmitted helminthes. Actually, molecular methods or DNA detecting it is more better for our time. Okay, and how to prevent this disease? Uh, how to prevent? Wash your hand. Be careful when you eat something from the ground. Wash this food. Wash everything what you want to eat. There is all about Ascaris lumbricoides.